this is how we do, man. I'm in Patterson Projects for those who want to know. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but Billy Stones and everything else that you better leave alone out here, you heard? Don't ever get it twisted. Check it.
What's good, y'all? What's the Numbers TV? It's your boy Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe and What's the Numbers is out here provided. Today we back on the profile piece. This one is on Wildcat. In this video we're going to talk about his upbringing and early years coming of age in New York City, and some of the things he did that will lead him to start being incarcerated from a young age. Then we'll focus on the story of Wildcat becoming one of the first Spanish Bloods in New York, and some of the things that made him a legend in the prison system. After that, we will highlight Wildcat's journey once he was released from prison and his entry into becoming a YouTuber after doing an interview on a well-known platform, before finally breaking down the situation that currently has Wildcat back in jail serving a 26-year sentence. Wildcat, real name Marco Almonte, is from East New York, Brooklyn / Richmond Hill, Queens, and spent time in both places throughout the years. He was a disruptive kid in school and used to get in trouble a lot, to the point his mom felt she couldn't handle Wildcat and sent him to live with his grandmother at 9 years old, but he would still be back and forth to his parents' house as well. Wildcat seen things in his childhood, according to him, that made him realize the world could be a cold place, which turned him the same way in order to survive. He would rebel against his parents' orders and started to fight a lot, which made him begin to learn the sport of boxing. Over time, he started to carry guns after a few different incidents in the neighborhood, and would even get into some trouble as a minor that ended up getting Wildcat sent away to DFY, which was a juvenile program ran by the state of New York. After DFY, Wildcat would get arrested again, this time for a robbery, which landed him in Spofford. From there, Rikers Island would be next, although he was still a minor. As Wildcat became of age, he would have a chance to become a functioning member of society and got approved for work release in late 1993. But while he was at his job in Astoria, Queens, things would take a turn for the worse when Wildcat shot 3 people after a situation over a girl. He fled the scene of the shooting and ended up getting arrested for a slashing not too long after. While in court for the slashing, he will be charged with the shooting, and after sitting on Rikers Island for a while, he ended up getting found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. But before he got sentenced in his shooting case, Wildcat became a member of the Bloods in late 1994, early 1995. He had already been making a name for himself while on Rikers for the different fights and cut-ins he had been a part of while he was sitting up waiting the outcome of his case. Word started to get back to OG Mac, who was the founder of the New York Bloods, that Wildcat was putting in a lot of work. OG Mac was going around recruiting some of the wildest inmates on Rikers to go against the Latin Kings and Nietas, who some say were oppressing black inmates at the time. Wildcat, although being of Spanish descent, decided to become a part of the Bloods in an effort to stop the oppression that was taking place. According to him, a TOS, aka Terminate on Sight, was put on him by the Spanish gangs because of his decision. Eventually, Wildcat went upstate, where he continued to rep Blood, but as the years passed, he calmed down a bit after doing a bunch of time in solitary confinement. He would come home in 2006, but ended up catching a new charge when he was caught with a gun while walking out of a park in New York City after hours. The case ended up going federal, being that he was a convicted felon in possession of an illegal firearm, and Wildcat ended up going back to prison. Throughout the years, Wildcat distanced himself from the Bloods and was no longer an active member. He was released from the feds in March of 2019, right in time for the OG New York City Blood Frenzy that would hit YouTube, courtesy of Queens Flip and the Flip the Script podcast. Queens Flip, along with his co-host, DJ G Money, had found a nice lane on YouTube by interviewing OG Blood members from New York City. Wildcat will be one of the Bloods that was interviewed in August and then again in December of 2019, and from there, Wildcat's internet career will begin. He started his own YouTube channel in September of 2019 and grew to have over 5K subscribers in about a year's time. But just as things were starting to look up for Wildcat, everything came crashing down when in October of 2020, Wildcat was arrested in upstate New York and charged with felony kidnapping that stemmed from a domestic incident. He was sitting in jail till his trial in April of 2022 and ended up being convicted on felony charges of kidnapping, strangulation, and criminal contempt, along with a misdemeanor assault charge. From there, Wildcat's sentencing would take place in August of 2022, where he will receive 18 years in prison, but that sentence will be raised to 26 years for certain reasons. Wildcat is currently 48 years old. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. There's a quick profile piece on Wildcat, OG Wildcat, real name Marco Almonte, out of Brooklyn/Queens, first generation blood, well known in the New York State prison system, back in the New York State prison system as we speak. Now, there was a video of him talking to the cops that was released. Some people calling Wildcat a rat for that video, where he was talking about the girl's father who he got into it, had some guns or came to harm him or did harm him. You be the judge. You could go punch it in on YouTube. It'll come up. You go make your own decision. Now, the situation stems from a relationship he had with a female he was dealing with. Now, he had talked about her highly on the Queen's Flip interview. She been all over his channel. They done content together. I don't got to say her name. You guys can look her name up if you want to go find out, because I don't know who was right, who was wrong in this situation. But, people like Killer Kev and certain dudes was telling him he need to get away from her. But who knows what went down that day. I don't know. I wasn't there. But you could go check it out and do some more research if that's what you want to do. But it was somebody that he'd been dealing with. I guess that's who he was upstate New York with, staying with, working, trying to get his life together after just come home from jail in 2019. He lasted a little over a year on the streets before he got locked up again and sentenced to all his time. Now, sometimes when you do so much time in your life, so much jail time, subconsciously it just happens to find you all over again. It kind of becomes your home and where you're most comfortable at, unless you really want to change or take the proper steps to change. So it kind of looked like, Wildcat would always say the right things, that he want to change, he want to do better. But, sometimes he might have just been institutionalized where, it's just jail was just there. That's just what he come from. That's just what he did most of his life in. And it's pretty much became his home over time. And it's kind of like when he's out in the real world, he's just visiting, fresh out, ain't nothing to go back, basically. And that kind of look like it's been the common theme in Wildcat's life now. Now, I do remember hearing something about that he had some type of appeal emotion, or he had some type of rhythm when it came to that. I'm not sure. I couldn't find the article or the video where it stated that. But I do remember it. When you look his name up on, the New York State inmate locator, it says out for court. So I guess he's still dealing with some type of charges, or maybe he's back in court trying to get some type of time reduction or appeal. I'm not sure. But that's what it says when you type his name in. And on that note, man, there's just a profile piece on OG Wildcat, first generation blood, came home, kind of went viral with the whole blood movement that went crazy during the pandemic and all that, when Queen's Flip was interviewing all the New York State Bloods. And back in jail, man, 18 years, bumped up to 26 years. So if he comes home, he'll be like 60, 70 years old. Right now, he's 48. And it's just a sad story. But, everybody got to be held accountable for their own actions, man. Did Shorty lie on him? I'm not sure. There's some people saying that. But you guys to go check it out, do your own research, and come to your own conclusion. But at the end of the day, the courts didn't feel that way. And the courts basically sent them up for 26 years. But on that note, man, it's What's the Numbers TV? It's your boy, Poro. We less than 1,000 subscribers away from 100K. You know what I mean? We almost there, man. It's pretty much official at this point. I just got to keep this grind going, keep dropping these videos. Once we hit 100K, we're about to hit the turbo button on the channel, because we got content coming all the time. We about to start dropping a whole lot more content. I just want to hit this 100K off these profile pieces, because that's what this channel was built on. That really took it to the next level. So I'm sticking true to that until we hit that 100K. But once we hit that 100K, you guys can be on the lookout for a lot more content. Go follow the Instagram, What's the Numbers TV. Follow Batty Bills. Shout out my guy, Wiz, B400. Shout out Federal A. For the Culture Podcast. Go check that out. That's something new we got on the channel, a few episodes in. And on that note, man, it's What's the Numbers TV. Any business, Poro, What's the Numbers at yahoo.com. And I'll be back before you know, man. It's your boy, Poro. I'm out of here. Peace.